Namaste, it's Amber Jean, and today I want to talk to you about hip flexibility and becoming more flexible in the inner thighs, as well as your quadriceps and even your hamstrings. This whole area of our body is all very much connected. Some people can have really open hamstrings and tight hips and vice versa. So it really depends on your body type, and it depends on what kind of activities you do. If you are a runner and you are doing high impact activities, that is definitely going to affect your hip flexibility. So as a rocket practitioner and an Ashtanga practitioner, I value my flexibility, and we all want our joints to age gracefully. So I do avoid hard impact sports and activities. So keep that in mind. Depending on your lifestyle will affect your flexibility. So I want to start today, we're going to start with our breath as always, have some medicine blocks here. So we want to just start with connecting to our breath. Now, if it's hard for you to sit on the floor, you can sit on a block, okay? And even just get a feel for, this is the butterfly. We're going to start with this pose today. This will really gauge where your hips are. So if you sit down and your knees are up here, that means your hips are a little bit tight. But if your knees come down, this is what the open hips start to become, is the knees start to release to the floor. Let's start just by connecting to our breath. So any cross-leg position, you can sit on a block or a pillow. And we're going to take a deep inhale. We're going to take 3 breaths. And we're going to inhale. Breathe into your hips. Give your breath a color. Exhale, feel tension leaving the hips. Inhale, take a breath, creating room for growth and transformation. Exhale, letting go of the past, shedding old habits. And take one more breath in. And one more breath out. Good. So the gateway to the hips is the groin. So we are going to start on our backs, and we want to fold our feet together, okay? And this is the butterfly. However, I'm recommending that you do practice this supported, and this is going to make sure that you don't overstretch, and it will help you relax the inner muscles. And so when we're here, we also want to squeeze and lift the pelvic floor. And so that lifting the pelvic floor is called Mula Bandha. And that also helps with flexibility because it creates internal heat that can melt down tension, okay? So raise your arms above you on the floor, grab opposite elbows. And we're just going to start by taking 5 deep breaths. In through the nose. Exhale, pull the navel in. In through the nose. And exhale. You'll hear that whispering sound with my breath. With every breath, I'm surrendering. I'm allowing my medicine blocks to support me. And that's helping me relax on a deeper level. 4. And 5. Okay, so this is a very deep stretch. So you might want to guide the stretch by using your hands to bring the knees together. Okay, so this next position is called Happy Baby. And sometimes I incorporate a chest opener with Happy Baby. So if we take the medicine block and we bring it into our upper back, we're sliding it up, 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 and we're opening back. So this position, oh man, it feels great in the chest, but that might be too big of a stretch in your neck. So then you take another block and you can put it here, okay? Good. So Happy Baby, we pull the knees in, and you don't have to do this with blocks, but this is just an option. You pull the knees in, grab the insides of your feet, and you rock the knees side to side. Okay, so this is Happy Baby. This is one of the most healing poses for your hips. And we want to breathe. Notice where you feel it. Turn your hands, maybe hold the tops of your feet, and then you can rock a little. You'll also notice my arms are on the insides of my knees. So you don't want to be, if possible, if you're really tight here, your hands will be on the outside. But over time, you want to be on the inside of the and behind the knees, okay? And 5. Good. So after 5 breaths, we are going to come out. So if you do have these blocks here, you could take a couple extra breaths. It's really great for opening our chest. Good. And so let's practice just being on our backs and being in Happy Baby. And so when you're working on your back, you have a lot less pressure and force on your feet, right? So this is a great place to work on the hips. So if you want to take it a little further, grab your big toes and extend the legs in a V. And now rock your legs side to side. Good. We're going to hug our knees in, grab the legs, and rock up. So everything's connected, core, heart openers, and hips. So from here, we're going to come onto our hands and our knees. If you want to release back to a child's pose, just to feel that stretch. And we're going to inhale, take our right foot forward. Now, if reaching down on the floor, you feel like your chest is closed, it's really tough, grab a block, okay? So here we're going to lunge forward and scoot that left knee back. So now I'm opening from the front of the thigh, 2, 3, and then I'm going to shift back and straighten this leg. And then I'm going to come forward. And then so let's see, so are the hands supposed to be on the inside or the outside? So if your hand is on the outside of your foot and your tummy is pressing onto your thigh, that's creating good compression. That's going to help with your digestive system, okay? So there's different ways to practice poses. And my philosophy of teaching is not about being wrong or right, but what effect do we want to have? So go ahead and take your hands on the inside of the foot, rotate the toes out, bend the knee. So now we're in a half squat, and then we start to roll the hips circularly. And this will really help you loosen up and really find target areas where you might feel tight, even if it's your back. Okay? And then we're going to switch sides. So again, move the hands, take that left foot forward, lunge, bring that knee, right knee back so you're dropping into the hip flexor, okay? 2. And then we're going to rotate back. So here I'm going to flex my foot, and then I'm going to bend the knee. And then I'm going to shift back. And I'm going to get some of that good compression, letting my torso push on my thigh. Okay? And back. and forward. And back. And then turn those toes out so my foot is on the edge of my yoga mat. And so our yoga mat really can create a map of where we place our hands and feet, okay? 4. Hip circles. Get loosey-goosey, loosey-goosey, woo. Find your sweet spots. Good. And go ahead and bring your knee back. And then go ahead and sit down. Butterfly, Baddha Konasana. This is a very classical pose, great for the hips. And there's different variations. So there's one variation where we pull the heels in really close. And then we open. And we practice just to sit. We're not bending forward, we're just sitting, and we're finding a meditation about opening our energy from the inside out. And then we can bring our feet a little bit more forward, okay? And this variation can make folding forward more accessible. Inhale, sit tall. Round your back, and then here, this is a rounded back, okay? So a little different. And again, this is the philosophy around alignment that I instruct on a day-to-day basis, is letting go of the perfect form and creating more movement, okay? So we're rounding our back, our head's coming towards the bottoms of our feet. Rounding our back. Two more breaths. Be patient, okay? There's no rushing flexibility. And we're going to inhale and sit up. Another way to work on the hips is we were upside down on our back. But if you're practicing shoulder stands, Salamba Sarvangasana, we roll over to plow and we want to rock our shoulders under, bring our hands onto our back. Classically, you would touch the skin on your back. So you move your shirt so that you can actually physically have that union with your hands touching your back. Now as we raise our legs, working on the float up, bringing both feet up at the same time, readjust. Okay, and then so from here, we have no compression because the feet are raised. And now we can take our feet out in a V. 2, 3, and then practice to bring your feet in. Roll your thighs into center. And then take them back out, flex the feet. Some of you might be able to tap your toes to the floor. And then you raise the feet, flex, and roll in. We'll do one more. And reach and inhale. Flex the feet, roll them down, and back up. Tap your toes behind your head and plow, flatten the hands. See how slowly you can roll out. Keep your head on the floor, on the floor, on the floor. Good. And then, so another way when we come out is to come up onto the elbows, tuck your knees in, and release to fish. This is the counter pose for the shoulder stand. Also, it feels really great to release your neck after shoulder stand. Lower your legs, raise your head, look at your feet, and come down. Stretch. Good. Hug the knees in and go ahead and rock up. Okay. So another sweet spot is called the Swan, and everybody loves this pose. I instructed almost every single class, and that is when we slide this right knee forward. So if you're up really high like this, that's okay. You can put a block or a pillow under the right hip, and then over time, this right hip comes all the way to the floor. You'll notice my back leg is extended straight. And so now I'm going to even myself out by squaring a little bit. And you'll also notice my foot placement is in close. This is very classical Swan, and then we fold over. This also takes a lot of stress out of the knee. So I do see people practice like this. You don't have to do that. You just fold the foot in and then square forward and exhale down. Four. And 5. Good. And inhale, come up. And then we're just going to switch sides. So we're just going to slide that knee back, take the other leg forward, and straighten and extend that right leg. So now evening our hips. Inhale, look up. And exhale, come forward. Ooh, find your sweet spot. And if some of these stretches feel good, you might want to be holding them a little longer. But mostly consistency. We don't need to get it all in today, but we want to be consistently working on our strength and flexibility day to day. And 5. Good. And we're going to inhale and come up. All right, so now the big hip movement is to swing the hip around. Ooh, look at that. Agni Stambhasana, we cross this right ankle over the left knee, and we take our left foot forward. So now we're going to release this knee down, okay? My job to make it look easy. So if your hip is all the way up here, your knee is up here, that's okay. You want to nurture that area, and at least you're growing awareness today of where you need it. And if you're a little bit more flexible, you can lean forward. And we'll inhale up. And we're going to switch sides, okay? So this is our big hip opener of the day, Agni Stambhasana. Notice my feet are flexed. So if your ankles are bending like this, the knee is not as supported. So it's good to work on flexion with our feet, okay? And exhale over. Wherever you are today in your body and your mind, give yourself grace. Give yourself permission to let go of the past. Hips are huge little storehouses of old emotions. So once we can start to unlock the hips, you might feel emotional. Embrace those emotions as they come up. The breath will help you work through them. Good, and inhale and sit up. So I hope you enjoyed some of these hip opening tips and be inspired. Namaste.